Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, still tracking a couple of strong storms into northern Mississippi, and the rain continues to come on down here in downtown Jackson. Get used to the rain. It's going to be hanging around for most of the night. We have a brand new flash flood warning, which was just issued, extended now till 10 p.m. We'll show you that coming up. Flood watch remains in effect till tomorrow morning, and a couple of our counties still have that tornado watch down to the southeast, although so far as those storms have been approaching our viewing area in West Tennessee, they've really kind of weakened. But the flash flood warnings now include all of West Tennessee. That stays in effect till 10 p.m. tonight. Many locations over 6 inches of rain today, as well as 15-inch totals since Wednesday. There's still some moisture hanging around. That's why we still got that tornado watch. You notice the dew points are still in the mid-60s in some locations. And as long as we've got the mid-60 dew points and the temperatures still near 70 degrees, there's still enough energy to try to get something going. So that's why they've continued that tornado watch for those counties. Now, right along the interstate, a lot of places saw 10 to 15 inches of rain, and there could be an additional couple inches coming on in tonight. Here's our new flash flood warning. You notice it includes almost all of West Tennessee out till 10 p.m. You probably want to avoid heading out tonight. There's probably going to be some roads that are flooded. There's already roads that are closed, and you don't want to be the first person to run into a flooded road before it gets closed, and then you get your vehicle taken downstream with you. So far, all this in West Tennessee is really cooperating. We do have a couple of tornadic storms, though, down to the south. They've continued to kind of develop in this same area. Got a nice hook on that one. This is a confirmed tornado tracking to the northeast. If it continues its general direction, it could be pretty close to Hardin County, but I think it's probably going to weaken as it moves up to the northeast. The atmosphere is just a little less stable here for producing severe weather. You'll notice inside West Tennessee, there's just a couple of spotty showers, and if we look at the velocity, not seeing anything that's rotating. These could be 30-plus mile-an-hour winds heading up into Lexington, but doesn't look like severe thunderstorm type winds. But we've got, again, that rotating storm. Now, there is a severe thunderstorm warning up here, and the reason is the north side of this storm. Do you see that little area there where those winds were gusted near Hickory Flat? But look, as they head towards Ripley, Faulkner, they're really losing their color a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on that. There's a chance that does start to produce some gusty winds in West Tennessee. Now, the tornado itself is there. It just recycled as it went through 22. And if it continues its general direction, it could be close to maybe Counts or southeastern sections of Hardin County where the last tornado went. I'm not saying it's going to still be a tornado when it gets a little closer to us, as what we've seen in the last couple of hours is as the storms approach our viewing area, they fall apart. But we're still going to watch it very closely here over the next couple of hours. Confirmed tornado on the ground north of Tupelo with some very large hail. And again, I think it stays to the east of us or south of us, but it's definitely worth watching here over the next couple of hours. So we'll be doing more updates and staying in the Storm Team Weather Center until even that slight chance for a tornado into Hardin County goes away. So as far as what we can expect for the remainder of the night, look at the rain. It's pretty much going nowhere. It's going to continue to pump in overnight tonight, continues into Saturday morning before it clears out. Additional rainfall, maybe another inch in Jackson, maybe another 3 inches down into the Selmer area. We'll have another update at 7:30. Obviously, if one of those storms gets closer to us, looks tornadic, we'll break in before then. But I think we're going to be good, but it's going to be close. We'll keep an eye on it tonight. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, just with a heads up to southern Hardin County, include the Counts Pickwick Dam area. We are watching a strong thunderstorm which has been producing a tornado off and on for about the last hour. Conditions again are a little less favorable for thunderstorms when you get north of 52 and approach the Tennessee line. So there's a pretty good chance that this tornado does weaken before it gets to Savannah, but we are watching it very closely. There's a pretty good chance you're going to be put under a tornado warning even if the tornado doesn't touch down in Hardin County, as this storm again has been producing a tornado off and on for the last hour. You're still under a tornado watch. The flash flood warnings remain in effect. We'll talk a lot more about that tonight, but we do want to concentrate now on our storm, which is heading right now down into southern Hardin County. So you see where this is a confirmed tornado that's been on the ground. It has been kicking up damage as it's getting closer to West Tennessee. There's two different tornado warned storms. There's a no longer a severe thunderstorm associated with this one up north, but there's a pretty good inflow notch coming on in there. Looks like northwest of Boonville, and we're still seeing some pretty significant rotation just north of Jumpertown as it tracks to the northeast closer to Corinth. So definitely still rotating. Not sure if the tornado is still on the ground as it is rain wrapped. If it was, you kind of could see that little donut structure with it, but that's out till 8 p.m. So if it continues the same track, it's going to be very close to Counts where it has been going for a while. We did have a debris earlier about 15 minutes ago. There was a debris ball, but that has lifted, so not sure if it's a still confirmed tornado, but that might be a little bit of debris, so we're definitely watching it very closely as it tracks up to the northeast. So if you follow the general direction, you notice it was very organized about 15 minutes ago, but now it's starting to get broad and sheer apart. The main reason is the atmosphere right here is not as charged up. It doesn't have as good a tornadic ingredients as it does down into Mississippi. We're closer to that cold front. Our dew point's a little lower and the temperature's a little lower, but it's still spinning. And I'd say more likely than not, we're going to have a tornado warning issued, which could include McNairy County, if not Hardin County. But I'm not saying that the tornado's still going to make it, but it is still going to be rotating, I think, as it tracks up to the northeast, closer to the Tennessee line. Up north here, we still got a lot of rain. Kind of want to take a look at the reflectivity here real quick on that storm because it did have still a little bit of a donut a little bit earlier, but right now that's what we're looking at, that inflow notch. Checking in with the National Weather Service. It looks like that no news on if they're going to extend that into West Tennessee or not. But I'd say more likely than not, we're probably going to get a tornado warning. I'll go ahead and draw my little arrow tracker on it. So we'll put this in an hour loop so you can see the general direction that it's going. And we'll get a ruler tool as well. So looks like we're roughly about 30 miles away from Counts, and the storm is traveling about 40 miles an hour. So that's a little bit more than 30 minutes. And we'll draw when it first started was down here. So, you know, if it continues the same direction, it may end up coming up into sections of Hardin County. It looks to stay southeast to Savannah, but there's a chance sometimes these turn also to the left. So you need to watch this. If you're in Savannah, Counts, Pollard's Mill, it could take close to the same path as the tornado that did into Hardin County that we had earlier during the week. But we're going to continue to watch this. Again, if tornado warning gets issued, we're going to break in and cover it live on TV. We'll probably stay with this on Facebook. So if you're watching us on Facebook Live or our live platforms, we go back to regular programming on TV. We'll continue to keep an eye on this as it moves on through. But for now, we'll get off on TV. If tornado warning comes in, we'll break in and tell you about it. If not, we'll continue to cover this on Facebook Live and have an update at the top of the hour on TV. Thanks for sticking with us here on our Facebook Live as we continue to track this storm. Again, it's been producing a tornado a while, but to confirm what I was saying on TV, the National Weather Service also said that the environment is less favorable for tornadoes along and north of Highway 72. Storms should weaken and become more elevated as they approach the Tennessee state line. And I agree with that. That's, you see where 72 is, so as the storm gets a little closer, We're expecting it to become more elevated, weaken some, and lose some of its rotation. But that doesn't mean it still can't produce a tornado here. It's just conditions are a lot more likely for that. Looks like where it was earlier when it was really spinning up. Like watch as we can go back 2 hours on this cell, and you'll notice it was pretty intense as it formed south of Oxford. It's been following the same rotation path. You see that? Two different areas of rotation have kind of been following the same general area. So, but I like what I'm seeing now on the velocity. It's pretty messy. It's not super organized, but it's a powerful storm. But I'm just not so sure it's producing a tornado right now. But still enough rotation. We probably get a tornado warning coming out of this here pretty soon. All right.
Downstream tornado warning for Hardin County in time.
All right, so we'll be going back on to TV to cover this tornado warning on ABC. So there still could be a tornado on the ground, according to a storm spotter saying they're still seeing some power flashes near Blue Springs. So I'm trying to see Blue Springs showing up on there. All right. Yep.
Well, Joel's taking a quick pit stop and replacing his batteries. We're going to keep an eye on this area of rotation on Max 2, just to the north of Jumpertown, Mississippi. That's the area of rotation that they're issuing this downstream tornado warning for. It will include portions of Hardin County, may include portions of southeastern McNairy County, most likely Mitchie, Counts, Hickory Valley, Nixon, Pollard's Mill, Bruton Branch. You're all likely to be included in this. And again, this is a storm that has a history of producing tornadoes. We haven't seen any major damage out of Mississippi yet, but we have seen evidence of tornadoes on this storm.
All right, so again, a lot of rotation, tough to pinpoint exactly where the tornado would be if there was, but I would say most likely we're probably in this area. So looks like we're going to go on to TV and break in and cover this onto TV. The tornado warning's probably going to pop up in our screen here within the minute. So, all right, are they ready for me at the wall? Yes. All right, so we're going to head back to the wall here, and we'll get going here on TV, and we'll stay on our live streams products as well. So. All right, just count me in and we'll get going. All right, Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here. That storm we were watching, I figured they would issue at least a tornado warning. They're going to issue a tornado warning for this storm that we've been watching down southwest of Corinth. It will include Hardin County, and I'm pretty certain it will include areas southeast of McNairy County. I do not think it'll have Selmer in the polygon, so heads up on that. It may fall just short of Savannah, but it'll be close if you're included in the polygon. But it's definitely going to have Counts, Mickey in there, and the Pickwick Dam area. So here's again our rotating storm. You'll notice it lost its inflow notch, which is good. It's also lost some of its rotation, but it's still a dangerous storm. It definitely needs a tornado warning on it, even if there's not still a tornado with it, as it is going to track up to the northeast. According to the National Weather Service, right along 72 and northward, conditions are a little less favorable for tornadoes. It doesn't mean it won't hold on and still produce one, but once you get north of 72, there's a little less energy, a little less rotation, so we're expecting this to become more elevated, a higher base supercell instead of one that spins down at the surface. But it's probably still going to be a pretty windy storm, even if it doesn't produce a tornado as it comes on by. But there's our center of rotation. If there was a tornado, it's probably right on 45 right now. There's multiple storm chasers on this storm. The problem is it does look pretty, it may be a little rain wrapped and difficult to see, but if there is a tornado on the ground, obviously there's going to be some damage on 45 that we're going to be able to report to you within a matter of a couple of minutes. But according to the National Weather Service, they are going to extend this tornado warning up to the northeast into, there it is. So there's our new tornado warning. I'm going to step off here because I do want to make sure we get all the counties involved in this.
It's McNairy, Hardin, and then the rest of it's in Mississippi.
Okay, so as of now, it does not include Savannah. It does not include Selmer. So heads up on those two cities. It doesn't mean it won't still try to get up closer to Savannah, but right now it does not. It's still a confirmed tornado, they're saying, over Hinkle, 7 miles north of Boonville, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. If you're in Savannah, you need to stay with us, though. You may not be under the actual tornado warning, but the storm is going to be awful close, and if it turns to the left, could be an impact issue for you. So some locations include Pickwick Dam, Blythe Crossing, Guys, Crump, Brunton Branch is in this, Pickwick Landing State Park, Hurley, Corneth, Chambers, Hightown, Damon, and Mickey. So some of our communities that I think are most likely to be impacted are probably going to be right along this line I'm going to draw here with this storm. So probably going to come right through here. It's going to be real close to Counts as it comes on through. So if you're just joining us for our coverage because your phone's going off for the tornado warning, we've been watching this storm for about an hour into Mississippi. It has had a history of producing a tornado, and it's tracking up to the northeast. So they're still going to call it a confirmed tornado right now. There were some power flashes that was observed about 5 minutes ago with that center of rotation. If you're watching us in McNairy County, Selmer, it's not coming your way. Mickey, it's going to be close to you, but I believe it passes just to the southeast of Mickey as well. So the place I'm probably most concerned about right now with this storm is going to be Counts and then heading over into the Pickwick area. We did have a debris ball earlier with this tornado. I'm not seeing it show up right now. So that's a good sign that it may be weakening some. Again, conditions are less favorable for tornadoes here in West Tennessee than they are down here in northern Mississippi. There's a big difference between the atmosphere tonight in Saltillo than there is in Savannah. So as that cold front's digging on in, I think this is going to become more elevated. I think we'll probably see this storm lift some, and we may not get a tornado on the ground by the time it reaches us here in West Tennessee, but it is still rotating, and it's still a pretty dangerous storm that we need to keep watching. So we'll go ahead and check with meteorologist Jordan Hubbard, who's in with me as well. Jordan, what are you seeing on the storm?
I'm keeping an eye on this area right to the south of Corinth, right on top of Rienzi, just crossed Highway 45. It looks like it's going to track very similarly to that storm we had come through the other day, where we had it go through all 3 states within about a 15-minute span. But of course, we still got a little ways to go before it's in West Tennessee. We'll give you the specifics on it here just in a second. We've got a confirmed tornado. It says radar indicated, but we have a visual on it thanks to a Mississippi Department of Transportation camera in New Albany, Mississippi 5 minutes ago. This storm is moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. We'll get you a track on that very shortly. But again, these storms are riding right along the cold front. So once it's over, it's going to be over for the night. We'll give you a track on this circulation northeast. We'll go out to the Hardin County line with it. That's going to include, we'll get to the Tennessee state line, and that's going to include Walnut Grove at 8:15, Lowryville at 8:23, Big Ivy at 8:27, and Gillis School at 8:31. This is going to come very close to Counts, maybe Wood Misstown to the southeast, but still, we've seen a visual of this tornado. You should be taking your precautions now. Nixon as well, you're in the polygon. Holiday Hills, Damon, Childers Hill, Maddox, Bruton Branch, Pollard's Mill, you're all included in this. You need to be taking your precautions now. Over in McNairy County, Acton, Mickey, guys, you're right on the edge. But still go ahead and take your safe space just to be on the safe side. Caffey, Needmore, Pebble Hill, Chambers, Hurley, you're all included in this as well. It looks like it's going to stay to the east of Mississippi Highway 2, which turns into, I believe, Tennessee 22 at the state line.
All right, Jordan, according to the National Weather Service, they're thinking that the lead storm is becoming elevated, but they still want folks to seek shelter because it still could try to spawn a tornado as it lifts through. I'm going to show you the difference between the environment here in West Tennessee and down to the south. So where we're at, you notice the storm that was rotating, it's become pretty linear, or it's just kind of all collaborated together. But look down south, this is where the atmosphere is more primed for tornadoes. This is why they keep developing down here and then moving to the northeast. They got a brand new confirmed tornado west of Baldwin. So that's where the more likely chance for this spin up to continue to keep going is to the south. But clearly we still see the rotation in the atmosphere, although it looks like it's becoming more elevated to me. I do believe in my heart that this is going to lift before it reaches West Tennessee as a tornado, but it is still probably, if not close to on the ground right now. So as the National Weather Service said, I'm telling you as well, if you're in the path of this, you still need to seek shelter, get into your safe spot. You probably got about 5-10 minutes to make that decision to get there if you are watching us in the Counts area. It's still an ugly storm, still a lot of rotation, and it's still spinning. So we'll keep an eye on it. We should get a new radar scan here in a couple of minutes, but it will be tracking into southern Hardin County here real quick, and it could clip areas into extreme southeastern McNairy County, but I think it's going to more track right through southern Hardin County and then the Pickwick area. So here's a look at the timing for Counts, Burton Branch, Pollard's Mill, Big Ivy. There's a look at you. So we're probably, in Counts, we're probably about 15 minutes out before it gets to your area, but it could show up as early as 10. It's a pretty fast moving storm. So you probably need to get ready. If you're right now is the time to turn on our live feed. If you're watching us on TV, you can grab your phone. You can go to our WBBJ News Facebook page. You can pull up either our live hit on either one of our apps, our weather and our news app. Plus, if you got a YouTube channel on your phone, we also have a YouTube channel, WBBJ. If also, you can go to our website, WBBJTV.com/live to catch our live footage. So if you're in the path of this storm, make sure you have another way to get our coverage. So if you need to get to your safe spot, you can get the TV off and get there. But right now, we're definitely still seeing some rotation with this storm as it's coming on by. Looks like it's, even if the tornado lifts, it's still going to probably produce some pretty strong winds as it comes on by. So Mickey, you're right on the edge. I'd probably, if I was in Mickey, I'd probably be getting in my safe spot just to be safe here in the next 5 minutes, although the center of rotation may pass just to the south of you. It's had a history of trying to turn up too. Savannah, right now, you're not under the warning. We'll see where it goes here in the next few scans. You're definitely fine in Selmer from this. This tornado is not coming into Selmer. But Mickey, you're kind of right on the edge as it tracks up here to the northeast. Not seeing any more debris showing up. There was some debris with this earlier, which is also a good sign that maybe it's no longer has a tornado on the ground with it. But as I said, it's still spinning. You can see the general direction of that as it looks like it's becoming elevated, turning more into a wind concern, I think, as it tracks up to the northeast. And then we've got the southern storm, but they've just been producing nonstop tornadoes sitting down here to the south the last couple of hours. But this is the first one that's got close enough to get a tornado warning that we thought could be coming for West Tennessee. But it's really losing its supercellular structure. Look down there, though. That's where the hook is. Up here, we're starting to become elevated. So, but still, again, if I was in Counts, if I was in the path of this, even if the meteorologist, who I am, was looking at that and I saw that it's getting elevated, that still wouldn't stop me from wanting to get to my safe spot. It's still a dangerous storm as it comes up, and there still could be a tornado on the ground, although, again, it looks like it's probably lifting, but that's not the chance that you want to take, especially when the National Weather Service still has it as a confirmed tornado moving up to the northeast. Jordan, what do you got?
No new updates from this tornado warning, but well, there's one new update, but not concerning the tornado. They noticed golf ball size hail in Corinth, Mississippi, which if that tracks would impact Mickey, Nixon, Chambers, Tulu, Childers Hill, Hurley, Pebble Hill. So prepare if you're not in the path of the circulation, at least, you're probably still going to get some decently sized severe hail out of this. Again, it's going to be larger than quarters. We're looking at golf balls. They are saying that this the middle storm is starting to cycle, so that's not the one we're concerned with. But looks like we're starting to see, it's just starting to look messy. The linear mode's really starting to take over, but looks like the circulation is now to the southeast of Corinth, right along Glen, south of Mississippi 350. So it's about, I'll put a ruler on this, that is about 11, almost 12 miles from the Tennessee state line for Hardin County, where it looks like it's going to cross somewhere near Highway 57, just to the south of Counts, where that's pretty close to Pickwick Landing State Park.
Yeah, so here's a product we use. This is what we call the VIL product. It's a good product for tracking large hail, and you notice the hail just really kicked up in the last 5-10 minutes from this. So maybe it's becoming more of a hail maker than a tornado maker, which obviously would be good. But there is hail, as Jordan said, coming into Mickey. Eastview, probably Stantonville. If you can get your car in the garage, you need to do that immediately in those communities. The hail, I think, looks like it's going to miss Selmer, but it's going to be pretty close. We're going to keep an eye on this Ville product, which often tells us about potential hail in the storm. There's still a brief inflow notch. You still see that right here. Here's the inflow notch coming in. So there's still some concerning signs that it is still trying to produce a tornado, and you still see some bright colors in and around Glen. Now, this might be becoming elevated. Again, when a supercell becomes elevated, it makes it more difficult for it to produce a tornado because it's further away from the ground. But there's still enough rotation here that I'm, again, if I'm in counts, I'm getting my safe spot here in a few minutes as this storm gets closer. So there's the rotation. This is where it's going to be going into the counts area. I'll get an updated track on this coming up here when we get one more radar scan with this. All right, so there's our newest scan. So again, we're probably right here with the tornado. And again, there's a look at the timing. So counts, you're probably looking at, again, about 10, 12 minutes before it could start to knock on your door. So there's the latest with that. National Weather Service in chat. They're saying it's still strong and you still need to be sheltering on the leading edge. So that just came in. So again, there still could be a tornado on the ground with this. So you need to still respect this storm. Although it may not have the classic hook like the southern storm had, it is still rotating. It's still a strong storm with large hail, gusty winds, and a possible tornado still as it moves into West Tennessee. So again, there's the hail probably coming into Mickey. Here's a look at the latest on our velocity. That's right here, southeast of Corinth, near Glen. So there's our rotation with this storm. And again, it is going to continue to track up to the northeast, likely staying southeast of Mickey. It's not going to impact Selmer, but it could be close to Savannah if it continues this track here within about 30, 45 minutes out or so. But there's the rotation southeast of Corinth. This is a pretty populated area, so I'm assuming if there was a tornado on the ground with this, we would pick something up on our debris product here in the next couple of scans. But again, there's a look at the timing as it's tracking up to the northeast. So it'll be moving into West Tennessee right around 8 o'clock. So at the top of the hour is when the center of rotation is going to be moving on in. So there's a look at it. Again, definitely some strong wind still with this. Looking at the debris product, I'm not seeing anything showing up there as well. Jordan, what do you got?
I've got the storm sliced, and folks, it's not necessarily pink like we would see with large hail, but that highest reflectivity signature, that dark red, is almost up to 20,000 feet. So this is a very strong storm. No matter how elevated it is, that is a very, very high signature for any kind of updraft. If there's any kind of hail that high, it's going to be either quite numerous or quite large.
Yeah, so large hail, possible tornado still here. Here's the center of rotation. We'll circle it for you again between Corinth and Farmington as it's tracking up to the northeast. Definitely looked meaner, about 30 minutes ago when we were watching it, but that doesn't mean that this isn't still producing a tornado. So heads up on that. So I'm going to get a couple of, I'm going to draw an arrow from where I think the rotation's going. It's again right there southeast of Corinth. So we're probably coming through here in counts. So I can give you some, again, we'll look into this and we'll get close so we don't miss any communities or highways once it gets into West Tennessee. So Pine Flat, Sandy Creek Subdivision, Red Sulphur Springs, Caney Hollow, Counts, Old South Road, Wind Springs, some areas that could be impacted, and then Burton Branch, again over Holland Creek Road, Lowryville, you're in the path of this, Big Ivy, Galese's Mills, Highway 203, if it continues to track this way to Martin Mills. So again, those are the communities that most likely will be impacted with this if it is still on the ground as a tornado, as we're still seeing plenty of rotation. Check in with the National Weather Service. Looks like nothing up new on our storm, except that it's still a dangerous storm and you still need to seek shelter as it comes on by. So there are multiple areas of rotation with this storm, but for us, we're just dealing with the one. Most of them are down south. So watch you put this in an hour loop, and you notice it just keeps spinning and pushing further south. There's just more development south, and it looks like we've got some gusty wind shearing on in here to West Tennessee, but it's close if there's still a tornado with this. So again, you need to seek shelter if one of those communities that we mentioned with this storm. So doesn't have the classic hook, still got a little bit of an inflow notch with it coming on in here. It's trying to spin back up here as it gets going into West Tennessee. So looks like it's right into this area is what I can tell from the reflectivity. Again, that's our large hail, still tracking up to the northeast into Mickey. Here's a look at the velocity still. This looks like a lot of gusty winds, by the way, even if there's not a tornado between Glenn and Corinth. This is probably 60-mile-an-hour winds, which is going to come on into the County area. These straight line winds could definitely take down some trees, as they are going to be pretty intense coming in out of the southwest. But still some bright colors. Definitely deserves a tornado warning, even though we do still have it confirmed from the last time the National Weather Service looked at it. I believe they had it confirmed due to a storm spotter, somebody seeing it, but I think that was about 15 minutes ago. Looks like it's going to be pretty difficult to see. One, it's at night, and it's probably wrapping back around with rain inside of this as it tracks up to the northeast. So still pretty ugly storm. There it is. Looks like probably 10 minutes away from you in counts as it continues to track up to the northeast around 40 miles an hour. Check the debris again. Not seeing any debris showing up, so that's good. Jordan, is there anything that you think I'm missing with this or that you see?
I haven't seen anything new. It doesn't, again, it's not looking super impressive. Again, still take your safe spot if you're in southern Hardin County, because it's got a history, and I know the environment may be less favorable, but it's still very much capable of reproducing. We're actually starting to see a little bit of another couplet pop up just to the northwest of Burnsville. It's got some pretty bright reds, almost peach colors, right up against some greens. It's a little broad, the brightest greens and reds, but if it tightens up, I'm kind of starting to take a bit of a high alert stance here, as this is coming into some of our viewing area. But again, it's still a few. We'll put a new arrow on it just to give you an updated measurement on it. Of course, we'll grab the center of rotation and move it. We're down to under 10 miles away, and again, I believe it's moving at 45 miles per hour. Yes, 45 miles per hour. So let's see. That's going to be under 20 minutes, folks. It's going to be in Tennessee in less than 20 minutes.
All right, so it's on its way. It's going to be here pretty soon. If you're into the Counts area, now's the time probably to seek shelter, as it's going to be there within the next 10 minutes, we think. So again, it's ugly storm. We can't confirm on radar that there's a tornado on the ground, but the last time the National Weather Service did work on this polygon, they said that storm spotter had seen it on the ground about 10-15 minutes ago. So definitely don't want to mess around with this one. You want to seek shelter as it comes on by. There's the southern, there's multiple, look at all these different tornado warnings, because this is a very confusing storm. It just keeps trying to move and rotate and drop tornadoes down south a bit as it's fighting right along a boundary. So it wants to stay south because that's where it can produce a tornado, but the general path motion is to the northeast, which is moving it into West Tennessee. So we've got still our little inflow notch there. Looks like some hail on the way to Mickey. And then it looks like for us still a pretty strong wind field that is coming on in. Possible tornado with this right into here. Again, but regardless, if this doesn't produce tornado, those are very strong winds that are coming in to the Counts area. So there's a pretty significant rotation still. So again, I wouldn't be shocked if there was still a tornado on the ground. We just can't confirm that by nothing with debris, and we can't confirm it by a spotter right now. As far as I know, there's some chasers that are close to 72, but that still looks pretty ugly. So again, Counts area, you need to seek shelter immediately, as it looks like it's less than 10 minutes away from your area. That was an old one, but definitely an ugly storm still, Jordan, for sure.
Yeah, the good news is they've downgraded it to radar indicated, which is further looking like it's more and more elevated. The only downside with a storm getting elevated is, yes, the tornado risk does go down slightly, but that's when the hail risk really starts to go up. So we're going to need to keep a very close eye on that VIL product, as well as we can use our debris product to look for hail too, but VIL is a little more consistent. But I'll show you what I mean. Right there between Burnsville and Mickey, that green streak that's scattering radar beam from hail in the core of that storm. I'll circle the hail core that would be doing that. That's going to be the hail core right here just to the east of Corinth, just to the south of Mickey, right on the state line with McNairy County. McNairy County, this is probably still going to miss you to the southeast. Counts still want to get into your safe spot, as well as other places in southwestern Hardin County, really all of southern Hardin County. So Nixon, Childers Hill, Damon, Counts, Holiday Hills, Pyburn, Nixon, Bruton, Branch, Maddox, Walkertown, Hurley, Crump, all these places. Not only is there a chance we could get a tornado to spin up, it's going to start producing some larger hail here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, so there's the center of rotation just away from Counts. We're looking at now less than 10 miles from Counts, so and probably about 5 miles to the border. So we still have a radar indicated tornado warning. We do no longer have the confirmed tag because they can't confirm it on radar or with the any storm spotters. But still a lot of rotation inside the storm. It doesn't look like a classic supercell anymore on the reflectivity, but there is still that little bit of a notch there to the south of Counts. So here's another product we have that tracks hail. So this is where the hail has tracked. This is where we think the hail is going, and this one kind of gives you the size of the hail, some of these hail tracks that were coming through. So probably at least quarter, if not larger hail, up to golf ball size, could be tracking up to the northeast into Mickey, maybe hitting Stantonville. I think the hail in the tornado misses you in Selmer, but we'll continue to see where that hail decides to go as this storm this elevated supercell storm now continues to track to the northeast. But this is a lot of gusty wind coming on into the Counts area. Again, even if it's not producing a tornado, but there is still significant rotation. This could be in the mid-levels of the storm now. We may not have a tornado on the ground. I think if we did, we'd have probably seen something show up on the debris product as it went through pretty populated locations there between Corinth and Glen. But nonetheless, it could try to still produce a tornado, even if it remains elevated a little bit. I just think it was a more dangerous storm about 30 minutes ago. But again, I wouldn't take my chances. You're in Counts, you need to get into your safe spot if you're in the path of this storm as it approaches the Counts area. It looks like it will stay south of Savannah right now, but you need to watch us, stay with us if you're watching us in Savannah, just in case it's to track a little bit further north, just in case some of that large hail comes your way, or just in case it even turns to the left. It has happened before with these storms. So we're going to watch it closely. And again, nothing showing up on the debris that I can see, which is some pretty good news. As long as we can keep the debris away, we're pretty certain that it's not on the ground. So, but that doesn't mean you didn't get a real quick spin up sometimes as well. Jordan?
It's really starting to tighten up just to the north of Burnsville, Mississippi. We didn't have very many greens on reds, but now we do, and some of those reds are particularly bright. Now again, if the storm's elevated, sure, fine, whatever. But let's treat this like it's close to the radar, because it's going to look the same no matter where it is along the beam. So this is going to cross the state line very shortly. Looks like it would miss Counts just to the south, but still, Counts, get in your safe spot because you're going to get some pretty big hail with this, as well as a possible tornado with this storm. Here's the radar relative velocity, and you can see that the inbound flow is just off the charts. It's very strong inflow here. We've got a little bit of outflow to the north of Glen, and they have re-upped it to confirmed.
Okay, so the storm spotter seen it?
Let me get some information on that. We've got Mississippi Highway Patrol on County Road 214 in Tishomingo County.
All right, Counts, no messing around anymore. You need to get into your safe spot. Law enforcement is still saying that this is a tornado now on the ground as it tracks up to the northeast. So looks like Jordan, my radar has frozen up, so let's go back to 2 real quick till I can figure out what's going on with this.
All right, and let's see if I can zoom in and find County Road 214. I'm probably not going to be able to because we only do state routes and U.S. highways and interstates outside of our counties. But right there, just across Highway 72, looks like we may have had a quick blip on our debris signature. That's just to the east of Glen. But we'll take a look at the velocity, and that's not quite where I would have had it. Looks like it's still really tightening up. It's about to cross Mississippi Highway 350. Again, this is getting dangerously close to Hardin County. So Damon, Caney Hollow, Counts, Pollard's Mill, Bruton Branch, all of you need to be in your safe spot because this is coming your way, and it's going to be there very shortly. I'll draw another track on this, 45 northeast. I'll draw it to the county line again. That's going to put it at Pine Flat at 808. I believe that's still in Mississippi. Pickwick Landing at 814, Caney Hollow 813, Bruton Branch 819. We've got just over 10 minutes to get into your safe spot. Lowryville at 826, Cherry Chapel at 827, Big Ivy at 830, and the Gillis School at 833. Folks, you're about out of time to make the call. Let's go ahead and get into our safe spots. Basements, hallways, staircase. If you've got them, take some helmets, any kind of sports pads, mattresses, blankets, pillows, anything you can to protect yourself. But this is starting to look a little meaner as it's getting closer to the state line.
All right, let's stay on 2 for a second. I had to reboot my computer. All right, we can go back to 1 now. So looks like we still do have a lot of rotation with inside this storm. Again, it's a large area of rotation, but it is coming right into Counts right now. So if you're in the Counts area, again, you need to be in your safe spot. And then right down from Counts, it looks like Bruton Beach, Branch, you need to be in your safe spot. Lowryville, Big Ivy, that seems to be the most likely path for it to go. It will cross 69. It'll be close to Maddox. I think it stays just south of you, but Maddox, Walkertown, I'd get in my safe spot as well as it's coming down. We'll continue to keep you posted in Savannah on this as it slides on by. But we're trying to take a bunch of different looks at this. It is still got some pretty significant rotation as it's sliding on through north of the Burnsville area. So center of rotation again right here. Looks like it's going to continue to track up to the northeast. Looks like I may have some bad radar data. So Jordan, you need to take back over, please, and I'm going to try to delete some of this stuff, figure out what's going on.
Alrighty, sure thing. I have actually sliced into the velocity, and it does still support that the storm is rotating. And not only is it rotating, it's rotating very deep into the storm. We've got rotation up to about 15, maybe 16,000 feet above the ground here. So that's a very, very tight rotation. That's almost 3 miles tall. Now, it's still getting close to the state line, still looks fairly tight. Let me reset the camera orientation so it's not so skewed. But here we go, as it's still getting close to State Highway 350 in Mississippi. Rotation looks a little less broad, but we're looking at it's practically on the state line. Counts, you need to be in your safe space. Caney Hollow, Damon, you need to be in your safe space. Bruton Branch, Pollard's Mill, you need to be in your safe space. Childers Hill, Pyburn, Nixon, you may not be affected by the tornado, but you are going to have some large hail coming in not far behind the rest of the storm, if not at the same time as everybody else is being impacted by this circulation. We're still seeing that this is confirmed by law enforcement. I'm looking for more information from the National Weather Service. I haven't seen much of anything since the Mississippi Highway Patrol reported it in Tishomingo County, but that is one of the counties that borders Hardin County. So we've got a new radar scan. It does look like it's tightened up a little bit more again, just to the south of Counts. This is right on top of Caney Hollow any second now. So Counts, again, it looks like it's going to miss you to the south. But that means Pickwick Landing, this is going to include you. Bruton Branch, Pollard's Mill. If there's anything closer, Lowryville, you're not in the polygon, but I would absolutely be taking my safe spot right now, as well as Big Ivy and Gillespie's Mill. Basically, if you are east of Highway 128 in Hardin County, I'd be heading to my safe spot now. Whether you hear sirens, or if you hear sirens or not, you should probably be in your safe space. Of course, this is going to be moving through soon again, 45 miles per hour northeast, and we're getting a scan about once per minute. I don't think this is going to come close to clipping northwestern Lauderdale County, Alabama, so it may leave Hardin County for a split second and then come back through. Again, this is going to come very close to Pickwick Landing State Park, Caney Hollow, Pollard's Mill. We'll pop up a reflectivity just to see if that inflow notch is still present. Again, there it is, right to the west of Caney Hollow. Actually southwest, just right about High Point, Mississippi. Then we'll take a look at, this is our debris tracker correlation coefficient. Again, that looks more like a hail signature to me. I'm not seeing anything that would convince me that there is a tornado in progress right now. But again, that's a pretty significant and consistent hail signature through the debris tracker. But we're going to keep with this as it's coming into Hardin County right now. We just have an update from the weather service in Memphis. The lead storm is hanging tough. Folks still need to be sheltering, and the trailing storm immediately behind this should miss Hardin County to the south, but if it turns left, does have ping pong ball or larger hail. And if you're definitely don't come out of your shelter after this, just in case, because they're saying the trailing storm also has a confirmed tornado. So just in case that second storm turns left, we're going to be with you for quite a while. Joel, do you have your stuff back up?
Yeah, I had to delete some stuff and restart the computer. So let's head back over to one. Great job, Jordan, by the way. We're still tracking, again, the southern section is still more likely to produce a tornado than the northern one, but we have still had a Mississippi deputy say that they saw a confirmed tornado still with this storm as it was moving into West Tennessee. So we're waiting to see what they do with the new polygon with this northern storm. They're probably going to extend it up to the north. If they do, it probably will have Savannah included in it with the polygon, but I don't think the rotation is going to come into Savannah, but we'll keep an eye on it. There's still hail extending from Mickey over through Counts as well. But there's a look at the rotation. As Jordan said, just south of Counts, it looks like that's the most likely place for that rotation. And again, it's probably going to track to the a little bit more to the east than to the north, but very bright colors still south. So definitely a pretty strong storm sitting right on, it looks like the Tennessee line maybe. Tennessee, Mississippi, maybe a mile or two north into Tennessee as it tracks up to the northeast tonight. So we'll get it looking at a couple different velocity products. We're using our storm relative velocity and our traditional velocity product as well. They kind of each take their own stab at where the rotation would be with this storm. But definitely some strong winds on this as it spins on through up to the northeast. Nothing that we're confirming on any of our radar products. Again, we're relying on the sheriff, who usually does pretty good. So here's our new tornado warning coming in for the southern area of rotation. So that's kind of what these have been doing. They've just kind of been tracking up the same area for the last couple hours into Mississippi, and now they're getting a little closer here into West Tennessee. So that one is a confirmed tornado. That looks like a confirmed tornado. See how small the area of packed tight rotation is, and up here it's more broad, right? We've got plenty of bright colors, but there, you get the greens and the reds, almost like a little circle ball is what we look at for being able to radar confirm that there's a tornado there, and it looks like that's what they're looking at. There's probably also a CC drop with that one as well. So we've got two tornado warnings. Still both have a confirmed tag on them. The northern one here that is just south of Counts continues to spin up, and then that southern one as well. Jordan, how did they confirm the southern storm? Was that also
there is
spotted?
A little bit of a debris drop. This is radar confirmed. That's why it's got the darker pink than the confirmed tornado that is currently warned for Counts and points south. It looks just to the east of Jumpertown that we had a big jump in correlation coefficient. It went from pretty solid shades to we've got a little bit of a debris ball right there between Rienzi and Boonville, Mississippi along Highway 45. So not only do we have the lead storm to worry about for Hardin County, we've also got this trailing storm that is also going to come very close to Pickwick Landing State Park, Caney Hollow, Pollard's Mill, Bruton Branch, Lowryville. You're in 2 tornado warnings at once right now. So
it definitely looks like the southern storm will be a little bit further east of the first one, but not by much, huh?
Right. And again, these storms are riding the cold front, so they're just going to trail very close paths to each other.
So as long as the cold front's moving east, it'll slowly start to push these storms to the east. So the second one may pass a little bit to the east of the first one, but there's a look at some of the rotation on that one as it's near Boonville, and then our Counts one still showing up with some reds and some greens with that one as well. So again, we've got the 2 different rotating storms. It looks like the Counts one has lost some of its bright colors, which is definitely good news compared to where it was a couple scans ago, but it's still a pretty mean looking storm. I'm going to go back to the other velocity product, and so you can see. All right, so the colors are still bright, maybe not as bad as they were, a few scans ago, but this is still a dangerous storm. You still need to be in your safe spot if you're in the Counts area. So it is tracking, again, northeast. We'll go ahead and give you a time frame for some of the other communities we think could be impacted by this as it rides the cold front up to the northeast. So again, that's the general path was where we think it's going to go is right there that I've drawn on the screen. So it's about 16 miles till it crosses out of the county line. But Burton Branch, Pollard's Mill, Lowryville, Big Ivy, Galease's Mills, Martin's Mills, and Lutz. If you hear those communities, you should probably head to your safe spot and respect this storm, as it is a pretty mean-looking storm. And we'll continue to watch the southern storm as it comes on by as well. Jordan, anything new from the National Weather Service?
We've got, we haven't heard any new reports of the leading tornado in 12 minutes, but they're keeping the confirmed tag because it still looks impressive on radar. We also have pictures of damage from Mississippi near Blue Springs. That would have been the storm we're tracking right now. But other than that, nothing new from the Weather Service concerning either of our storms. Again, man, that rotation is really starting to broaden, but it's still extremely fast right along the Tennessee River in Hardin County. But the second storm, it's kind of in I don't know what's going on with radar, but it's got something going on with the Columbus Air Force Base radar. I'll swap to reflectivity, and you see the inflow notch just to the southeast of Rienzi, Mississippi. Again, we can pop up correlation coefficient, and it looks more like a hail signature, but it's still worth watching because right there where I said that inflow notch was, there's a little bit of a green dot. Not the most convincing tornado debris signature, but still worth keeping an eye on over the next several minutes.
Yeah, I agree completely there, Jordan. All right, so let's kind of wrap this back up to the top here. We've got, again, a large cluster of thunderstorms trying to rotate here, riding that cold front as it spins off to the east. There's still some storm energy in the area tonight, although it is higher down into Mississippi, but this is where the storms are firing up, is right along this line tonight. So right into the Counts area to the southeast. Again, Savannah, you are not under a tornado warning. I don't think either one of these storms are going to get you in Savannah. The first one will be closer than the second one, but where the cold fronts just seems to be forcing these storms is going to stay to the southeast of you. So, but still some rotation in here. Still a dangerous storm. There still could be a tornado on the ground up north, although looks like some pretty strong winds as well. Even if it's not a tornado, probably some 60-mile-an-hour winds. It looks like the National Weather Service in Nashville has just put this in as a radar-indicated tornado. I'm surprised that Memphis hasn't filled the polygon in, at least from this storm, but kind of give you an idea, this is what Nashville did with it. So here's where they're thinking the rotation's going, staying just to the southeast of Counts. But still a lot of bright colors. Looks pretty broad, but there's a large area that is still rotating tonight. Definitely should keep this at least a radar indicated tornado warning as it moves out of this polygon, which I think we'll find out what the National Weather Service does. This looks more like a more likely for a confirmed tornado down here. You notice the brighter colors are closer together, and you notice up here there's a large area of reds and greens. So to me, there's probably, if there is a tornado, it's probably still with that southern one, but we'll still watch this as it comes on through tonight, tracking to the northeast of Counts. I believe if Counts took a hit, I think we'd definitely be seeing something showing up, or anywhere close to Counts, we'd probably see something showing up on the debris tracker. But definitely some rotation, definitely some strong winds in here. Probably looks like it's just to the east of Counts. All right, so they did fill in the polygon, and it looks like they went with a radar indicated tornado warning for what's left of our northern storm as it becomes more elevated as it moves closer to the county line. So we'll watch this. The southern one, I think, is probably deserved a little bit more attention right now, but it's not in our viewing area. So we'll obviously watch it, but this one could be impacting people watching us on TV right now. This one's probably still about 15 minutes away. So we're not going anywhere with either one of these two storms. We're going to continue to watch them. And you'll notice there's even more developing south of it. So what's been going on in Mississippi is this has been one after another, developing roughly along the same line. So there may be more coming in tonight down to the south. So we could be tracking this for a while as they continue to move up to the northeast. But regardless, we've got at least another probably 30 minutes of dealing with this storm coverage tonight for extreme southeastern Hardin County. Jordan?
So we do have some radar indicated rotation, but this storm in Hardin County, the first storm, is starting to take on a bit of a bow shape, which means if you're in Counts, points east, it's going to turn into more of a straight line wind threat. But if you are in the apex of, or not the apex, but the northern tip of the bow, right here north of Counts, between Counts and Savannah along Highway 22, that would be the new most likely spot for a tornado to develop because that's where we usually call them comma head tornadoes when they're in linear events like this because they form in what looks like a comma head echo. If you remember drawing commas in your English class. That is where we would expect a tornado in a linear storm. It's starting to lose its supercellular structure. We'll give you an update on the southern storm as well. That inflow notch still really prominent to the east of Rienzi, Mississippi, closer to on its way to Burnsville. I'll give you a look at velocity there, and again, it looks like the that almost looks more outflow dominant. The green outflow really ramping up. They did issue a new tornado warning farther upstream too, so we're going to keep an eye on that storm. But it's still probably several hours out from us here in West Tennessee. And by the time the cold front gets here, I assume that's going to be pushed well off to our east. But they did just issue an update for the confirmed, the radar confirmed tornado. I'll get you the specifics on it real quick. That's going to go out until 9 o'clock. They raised the speed and they raised the hail size. So it's moving northeast at 50 up from 45 and ping pong ball sized hail up from quarters.
Jordan, I do want to let the people in Savannah know, it looks like they did draw you in the polygon for the tornado warning, the new one, the radar indicated tornado warning, but this storm, in my opinion, is going to stay to the southeast of you if there was a tornado with it still. But you still could get some pretty gusty winds, especially if you're southeast of Savannah. But you'll notice here on our velocity product, I think this is the rotation areas over here, probably about 5 miles away from you. So if your phone alarms are going off, if you live in the city of Savannah, stay with us here. But I don't think you need to seek shelter immediately if you're in Savannah. We can clearly see that the rotation is southeast of you with this storm, and so are the strongest winds. They're to the east side of this, not wrapping back around. Now you probably have a pretty rough thunderstorm coming into Savannah and some gusty winds, but the tornado threat is down here. So staying to the southeast of you. So if you're watching us in Savannah, you just may want to stay with us because there's a lot of activity down here to the south. It just continues to try to spin up these tornadoes. But in my opinion, where the cold front is located, where these storms are forcing. I think they all stay to the southeast of you tonight. But there's several of them that are lining up. Look at all these areas of rotation just along this front. So the atmosphere is really, really charged up down here along this the boundary of the cold front, trying to spark up tornadoes. This looks like the tornado threat's over, in my opinion, right now. This looks all some strong winds, as Jordan was saying, coming on through, but we'll keep an eye on it. They're very elevated now compared to even where it was just 10 minutes ago. Down here, these ones do have me more concerned, but I think they're going to be a lot like the last one. They're going to be really strong, probably have tornadoes on the ground in Mississippi, and as they get closer to us here in West Tennessee, eventually they're going to lift as they get a little closer. But we definitely need to watch these. There could have been a tornado still on the ground, south or east of Counts, about 5-10 minutes ago. You know, and it's still showing some decent a bit of rotation as it tracks on through now, but it just seems to be more concerning with these southern storms. I'm trying to look in here for any debris with those southern ones. I'm not really seeing that popping up, but this is what Jordan was talking about. Another tornado warning has now been issued down here. So you notice they're all going pretty much the same route. If the front stalls out and it's no longer moving, then these aren't going to move, and they're just going to sit here and kind of go up the same boundary. But as that front gets a little closer, I think it's going to tonight, we're probably going to eventually see these storms where they'll start staying east of Hardin County. But you got a tail here, got a tornado warning here. So everything down here in the southeast, until that cold front moves on in a little closer, we're going to continue to be watching these storms tonight. So we'll probably at least be here through 9 o'clock, maybe longer than that, tracking these storms. Jordan?
Again, nothing new. Again, it still looks like more straight line windy coming into Hardin County. They just downgraded the law enforcement confirmed tornado down to radar indicated. That's on the Alcorn-Tishomingo County line. Again, it just looks very messy, and again, it's starting to take on a more outflow dominant shape. So when we say outflow dominant, you see green means it's going away from the radar or going out of the storm, depending on which velocity product we're looking at. This is the storm relative product. So this is, the greens are going away from the storm, reds are going into the storm, and you see the brightest colors are all green, and there's not very much red left in this storm. We'll pop up reflectivity, and there's still an inflow notch right around Burnsville, but it's weaker. But the Highway 72 right there through northeast Mississippi, that's the boundary that the Weather Service has been hinting at, that north of that highway is just really less favorable for any sort of severe weather to develop. These downgrades, these pink boxes turning red, it's better news than no news.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, Jordan. This is what that looks like, the Savannah cam. It is explosive with the lightning, though. Just seems to be pretty much nonstop going on. So these are some pretty powerful storms. Although they may not produce any tornadoes in Hardin County tonight, they are in Mississippi, and they still could continue a couple of these spin-ups into Hardin County tonight. Again, I think everything stays southeast of Savannah, but we're still under a tornado watch tonight in those southern counties. It's still out till midnight, so it still could be a few hours while we're watching these storms, and the flood watch remains in effect, and flash flood warnings continue for everyone in West Tennessee is under a flash flood warning, so you're going to want to stay inside tonight. Probably don't want to go out and travel on these roads because a lot of them are going to be packed with water. Some of them may even be washed out. Now, I've never seen colors like this on my map. Basically what this means is that the yellows are where we've seen close to 15 inches, or the yellows, the whites are where we've seen close to 15 inches of rain, the blues 10, and it is a huge swath of West Tennessee, over 10 inches of rain since Wednesday. All right, back to our tornado warning storms. Again, a lot of rain, a couple of pockets of hail. Looks like there's some hail there south of Counts again. Our northernmost storm looks like it's becoming more of a wind event. It's tough to pinpoint anything on the reflectivity, but we can still see those strong winds on the velocity. That's right through here, which is going to move over the county line in the next, I would say, probably 5 minutes. Savannah, I know you're still kind of tagged into that tornado warning, but there's no tornado threat for you right now in Savannah. And then there's still some broad rotation. Definitely wouldn't look at this as a meteorologist, say tornadoes are on the ground still, but definitely some rotation. That's why the National Weather Service in Memphis decided to go ahead and get ahead of it and issue a tornado warning. These down south also trying to spin up, but watch, you see the loop there with this one as it was very bright. as it was in Mississippi, and then as it moved into West Tennessee, it really lost a lot of its rotation once it got north of that highway, where the boundary is, where we think storms will become more elevated as they track on in. Down south, there's still a lot of areas along this little storm cluster that are trying to spin up. So any one of those little bright balls you see there could try to rotate and produce a tornado along that line. But I know we still have one confirmed box, Jordan, but there are no official tornadoes right now that are known to be on the ground, right? Even the southern one?
Right. That rotation that had that turned the box pink with the confirmation, it's now almost out of that polygon. It's
it's moving away, right?
It's this,
to the east.
Yeah, it's this circulation just to the east of Counts. It's right on the edge of that first tornado warning. So, and again, it looks more straight line windy now than it did even 20 minutes ago, and that's because it's becoming more elevated. So the rotation at the surface is just not there as well as it was just 20 minutes ago again. But even you see this Boeing shape down from the red colors all the way from Waterloo, Alabama up to Savannah. That bow shape really reinforces the fact that this is becoming more straight line wind dominant than it is tornado dominant. But we still have an inflow notch on the second storm on this little train we've got going on here, just to the south of Burnsville. It's also starting to show a bit of a hail core. In fact, the National Weather Service in Huntsville extended a severe thunderstorm warning over into Lauderdale County, Alabama for this. But again, that's going to ride very close to the Hardin County line when it tracks into Tennessee. It may not, the rotating part of that storm may not hit Hardin County, but the hail core certainly can. And of course, we've got the two upwind storms that have tornado warnings. I see they've canceled one of them. But this is it's becoming more of a straight line wind thing for right now. We're going to keep an eye on this second storm as it's still showing signs of rotation and producing hail. So it's more of a supercellular storm, even though it's still embedded in a line.
Yeah, so definitely some strong storms. Not seeing anything on the debris product. Nothing that we can confirm that any of this rotation is on the ground right now. And we're expecting that to continue to be the deal as these storms do move into Hardin County. But I think they're still going to try to rotate the next couple hours down into Mississippi. But eventually they're all going to, again, track east of us as the cold front digs in. But we still may be dealing with some of this action for the next 30 minutes or so. I'm thinking until around 9 o'clock, and then we'll see how things are going. There's a little bit of a hook there. Then Jordan talked about that hail. You can clearly see that right here in the north of Burnsville. That's probably close to quarter-size hail heading into the Crossroads area. So have they given any hail reports out of West Tennessee, Jordan, in the chat that we were watching, that Ville product, which was showing some hail maybe going up to the west of Counts into southeastern McNairy County?
I've not seen any hail. We have an update from Hardin County Emergency Management that they have no reports of a confirmed tornado in Hardin County. But again, we're still going to keep an eye on that second storm. That just means the first storm likely did not produce a tornado while it was in Hardin County. We still have one more storm to contend with.
Yeah, and here's what's left of that first one. That's really good news there. There was no, because I believe there was a touchdown. The Hardin Emergency Management people would know. They're really quick to get back to the National Weather Service chat out of Hardin County. So, but still some rotation, very broad. I think the National Weather Service in Nashville did a good job by keeping this tornado warning active. It definitely needs to have a tornado warning on it, even if there's not one on the ground. It's still some pretty strong rotation as it will move out of Hardin County within the next few minutes. And then we got a cluster of little areas trying to spin up and rotate down here. Nothing that looks overly classic as far as a tornado, but still some pretty strong winds and some strong storms, I think. These are all going to stay, I think, even southeast of Counts as they come on up. So again, each one of these storms, the one after the other, is going to be, I think, a little further off to the east as they come on by tonight. But again, that all depends. If that front stalled out, then they'll hit the same place again and again if it stopped getting closer to us. But definitely some bright colors here. Strong winds regardless, heading over into extreme eastern Hardin County as it moves on out. and then down south. So still a couple of potent storms that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Tough to pinpoint this specific location of where a tornado may develop in this southern cluster, but that's why you usually don't see tornado warning polygons this skinny. The reason it's so skinny is because they're very confident in the direction that it's going, because that's where the storms have all been going in this general direction. Usually you see more of like a triangular polygon almost instead of a rectangular one, but they're pretty confident in where this is going. I don't think that's a debris ball over there by Luca, but I'm going to have Jordan look at that anyway just to make sure. He's got a good eye for those things. So west of Tupelo, we've got a tornado warning indicated, and this one's also, I think, going to follow in the same general direction. It's going to come up to the north, catch that line, and then track to the east again. So we're going to have to continue to watch these tonight. Very active night for the people in northern and northeast Mississippi for sure, Jordan.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think the velocity couplet lines up with where I'm seeing this response on correlation coefficient. It's just a little bit too far east for it to match up perfectly well, although it does look like it's starting to trend a little more easterly, so they may end up reissuing this warning farther. Well, it wouldn't be Memphis anymore. It would be Huntsville and then Nashville immediately. It's starting to take a bit of a right turn through Iuka, Mississippi. That inflow notch, it's there, but again,
Iuka, thank you.
Yeah, it's an I, not an L. But again, the correlation coefficient, the debris signature, not overwhelmingly convincing. If you look at that, like that looks like it could be, but again, it's right on the edge. And usually with a correlation coefficient product, debris signature is not going to be right on the edge of any kind of return.
Yeah, so good call on that one. So no confirmed tornadoes at the moment, but still some rotation there near Iuka, heading close to Waterloo. So we've got, this is broad. I think the tornado threat's done with our northern storm. This one, though, as Jordan was saying, still has a little bit more rotation, and then both of those little areas rotating a little bit as it looks like they're going to slowly move eastward and then become more of an issue for maybe Waynesboro, Collinwood, Iron City, as they track in that general direction. But nonetheless, a very active hour for the people in northern Mississippi. There's even, look at the middle of that giant tornado warning. Look at that, the wind feature on that one. That is just a massive area of rotation near Pontiac heading into 22. Doesn't look like a tornado type rotation, but a powerful storm. So there's definitely still some energy tonight that we're going to have to deal with getting close to. I think it's going to be southeastern Hardin County is the only place I think that's going to be dealing with the threat of these possible tornadoes tonight for the next couple of hours. I'm not seeing anything that's going to make it over to Hardeman or McNairy counties. Would you agree with that? Or
I would. I think, again, let's pull up, if we can, let's pull up our temperature graph. It's going to be very telling as to where that cold front is. Not only that, we can use the dew point graph as well. We'll just go straight to the dew point graph because it's usually a little more telling about cold fronts. But, well, if it pops up, there it goes. Again, yeah, Selmer, Savannah is about the only place with sufficient moisture to even allow for a thunderstorm almost, especially Savannah.
Severe
with it
thunderstorm.
being, yeah, right. With it being 66, usually the baseline is 60, but ideally for severe thunderstorms, 64 is that sweet spot where it's the chances go up pretty drastically. But again, it's not super moist farther to the north and west. So this, again, Savannah, Hardin County is just about the only place left in West Tennessee that could see severe thunderstorms.
And we are still pounding the rain in for everybody else. I'm going to show you that. We haven't forgot about everyone else who's dealing with the flood threat tonight in the rest of our viewing areas. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But we do want to check out that Savannah cam for lightning one more time. It should be popping up any minute. So still a lot of lightning. The last time we looked at it, looks like that's still pretty prevalent in the Savannah area. So lots of lightning. I'm sure this is looking to the east or southeast where those rotating storms were showing up. We still do have our tornado watch out and the flood watch. Again, the tornado watch is just for 4 counties. I think it's predominantly going to be a Hardin County, southeastern Hardin County thing over the next hour. All of West Tennessee still under flash flood warning. 6 inches of rain today in some locations, 15-inch totals from the system. Look at that. This is just ridiculous. I've never seen rain like this in an area over 4 days. I've seen some localized areas that have gotten 12 to 15 inches, but I've never seen a wide swath of almost an entire viewing area here in West Tennessee with 6 to 10 and as high as 15 inches of rain according to our Doppler radar estimates. So most of this is just rain coming on in tonight, a few isolated lightning strikes. You notice the brighter reds down here into southeastern Hardin County. So here's our stronger storms. We're still watching a couple down here into Mississippi too, so we'll see. There's a chance they could clip, as Jordan was showing you there. Southeastern McNairy counties may have enough storm energy to produce a severe thunderstorm, maybe a tornado as well. That includes you guys in Mickey, so we'll see. There's that donut showing up, but we'll have to check it and see what it looks like with the velocity product on it as well. So maybe trying to spin up there around Iuka. And that could be heading up into Waterloo. I think that stays southeast of Counts. But that's as tight as the rotation's been over the last 10, 15 minutes, I think. You see that, Jordan, popping up there right at the reds and greens east of Burnsville. So that's probably where this one's trying to cycle up a tornado as it comes on through. So we've got that area. We've got our first storm moving out. The second, so there's 3 areas of rotation, 1, 2, 3 that are close to us. And then down here, there's 2 more additional areas. So whatever's going on this line, these storms are liking it as far as trying to spin up tornadoes. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on these as they move through. It depends on what velocity product you're using there, storm relative to regular velocity, but nothing confirmed right now. You notice how this one's come very sheared apart. This is the first tornado warning that we were watching near Counts. As it became elevated, came sheared apart, and it looks like just some winds heading over towards the Collinwood area. Jordan?
So we are going to lose the northern tornado warning for Hardin County. So Savannah, your storm threat is just about over. You might hear you might still get some rain, some thunder from the rest of this leftover convection off to the west. But in terms of severe weather, you're just about done. They are allowing that larger warning to remain or to expire. The southern warning that has portions of southern Hardin County in it, Caney Hollow, Bruton Branch, Pollard's Mill, a good chunk of Highway 69 and 128. That one will still be in effect for the storm that's starting to wrap up right around Iuka in Tishomingo County, Mississippi. But again, even with the latest past 2 scans, it's come down quite a bit. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Again, once it crosses Highway 72, they're going to start to lift up off of the cloud deck, and we're going to start to see more straight line wind threats and hail threats go up more so than the tornado threats. I don't have any updates on the southwestern storm, that really large tornado warning polygon. But again, if it's riding the cold front and the cold front is moving the direction that it is, I would not be too super worried about that southernmost storm. But of course, we're still going to watch it until we know for sure that it's not going to impact Hardin County.
All right, there's a look at lots of bright reds and greens spinning across northern Mississippi tonight, and they're all slowly tracking east as well. But do you notice the bulk of them, when they start, they're going northeast, but then when they strengthen, they start to race more east than north. Like watch the one near Iuka. So, you know, if you go follow it all the way back to at Boonsville, it has now taken more of an easterly track. So I think a lot of these, as they start to move up to the northeast, are going to stay east of even counts for tonight. But we'll see. Those other ones are still a ways away, and it's going to be a little difficult to tell if they'll be making it into southeastern Hardin County or not. But we've got, again, multiple little tornado warning polygons, nothing confirmed at the moment. Got some radar indicated areas of rotation. There's the first 2. So you see these 2. So here's our first one. This is the first storm that came by. That's this. So our second one, that's this. And then we can go down here a little bit further. And then there's a third one. as you see right here. So 3 different areas of rotation just all kind of lined up with the same storm, and kind of pull them back there and look at them as they've been trying to spin on up. So there is some major spin in the atmosphere down in that area tonight. But you notice the other 2, it looks like they're going to stay just southeast of Hardin County. So the first one came through to us. The other 2 are staying to the southeast. I also think the reason the storms are doing that, trying to stay further southeast, is I think the energy is better there. I think the environment is more favorable, so they'd rather stay to the southeast of Hardin County and then instead of going into a place that's not favorable. So storms, they kind of are smart. They know where they're supposed to go to continue to live. I mean, they're obviously not alive, right? But they kind of act like they are. When they go up, they try to find the most favorable place for them to survive the longest and become the strongest. And it looks like that's sliding now southeast, I think, of Hardin County. But we'll still watch them tonight. We're definitely going to keep a close eye on these. And anytime there's a tornado warning, obviously, in Hardin County, we're sticking with it until the storms move on out. But although Savannah, I think you're good on the threat. Even these ones behind, these ones down near Boonville, I think these will all not be a problem for you in Savannah as well. I'm just not really seeing that's going to be much of an issue. But lots of a little wind blasting up here. There could be isolated microbursts along this. So some pretty intense winds and some minimal rotation right now. But that doesn't mean that won't change. Especially I think into central Mississippi. Nothing showing up on the debris product as well as we begin to approach 8:45. Jordan?
We have an update from the Weather Service in Memphis. It's not concerning any warning, but they are noticing the same thing we're noticing, in that storm in Tishomingo County, Mississippi, near Iuka, is beginning to weaken. Again, it doesn't look, it looks like it's just falling apart on reflectivity. We can take a look at the velocity, and again, nothing really organized. But I did notice this from our southwestern storm. We'll drag it over just to the south of Sherman, Mississippi. Of course, if we need to keep a closer eye on this because it may be here probably within the next 2 hours. It's got a very tight inflow notch just to the south of Sherman, and look at that spin. We'll drop a correlation coefficient. Doesn't pick anything up, and that's a good thing, because that is closer to the radar than I'm using than to our storms up to the north that are currently impacting West Tennessee. So update: the storm in Tishomingo County, Mississippi, that is currently tornado warned for portions of Hardin County, is beginning to show signs of weakening. The first tornado warning has been allowed to expire at 8:45. So that storm is out of Hardin County for the most part. There's still some gusty winds on the near, that's going to be Pollard's Mill, just to the east of Pollard's Mill, between Pollard's Mill and Ransom Stand in Wayne County. But again, our storms are beginning to weaken, which is a good thing. But we're going to keep a close eye on that southwestern storm, because if these are riding the front, we're probably going to see these same pattern, just storms training one on top of another.
Yeah, I think they're going to continue to stay strong in Mississippi, probably produce some tornadoes, and then as they get close to West Tennessee, kind of fall apart. I think that's what we're going to see. That's what we saw before the event started. I was surprised a little bit at how strong that storm still was as it approached the Counts area, but it did not produce a tornado. But it definitely was still a rotating son of a gun as it did go into that area. The southern storm that Jordan was talking about there, just to the southwest of Saltillo there, little inflow notch west of Tupelo, is definitely rotating a little bit.
Should mention that's not our Saltillo. That's Saltillo, Mississippi.
Yes, there's a lot of the states around here have the same county names and the same towns. And there's a very big, broad area of strong winds. I think all that north of Tupelo is a very intense wind line that is coming on through. So I'm not sure if if that sparked the original tornado warning, but it's been pretty broad the whole time. But that's a powerful storm. But looks more like some straight line winds. But we'll see. Definitely could spin up. But again, I'm thinking the storm stays southwest of Counts tonight. You notice the National Weather Service out of Huntsville did issue a warning on this, but they decided to go with a severe thunderstorm warning for the cell near Iuka. So kind of rack this back up again to the top so you can kind of see what we're dealing with the polygons. So we've got 2 polygons, one to the south, one to the southeast. The tornado threat is over for these ones. The storms have weakened and they're clearing on out. Jordan and I are going to continue to watch this one though. We'll see what it does. There's a chance it's close to Hardin County as it moves on up. If we do get another tornado warning in Hardin County, obviously we'll break in and we'll cover the storm in its entirety as long as it's a danger to anyone, even the tiniest corner of Hardin County. If it's a danger to you, we will break in and tell you all about it. But right now we are going to head back to regular programming as the tornado threat for these storms has cleared on out. We'll be ending our current Facebook Live. We'll keep our Facebook Live up at least for a little bit, although we'll take our mics down for a bit. We'll try to do an update on Facebook Live maybe here in about 10 minutes if you want to keep following our storm coverage. But as far as television, we're going to head back to regular programming on ABC.